Hi everyone, this is Adriana, and I just wanted to tell you about this website that I have been doing since 2020. Well, actually 2012. It's called the Morbid, the Gruesome, and the Unexplained. In this website, we take a look at superstitions, zombies, um, different topics that interest me because I'm a little bit of a horror crazy person who likes everything that scares me just a little bit. So in this website, as you can see, we talk about serial killers, killers that have been found, that haven't been found, missing persons, UFOs, mermaids, just about anything that is a little bit creepy and unexplained. And today I wanted to talk to you about a specific, it's actually one of my first posts on this blog, and it is the Ghost of Virginia Rappe. This is part of the Hollywood myths and tales that I have in the website. Not many people know who Virginia Rappe is, or rather, who she was as a person. Her story has been lost among the thousands of sad puppy eye women who flock to Hollywood every year, that get lost in the shuffle, which is why I'm telling her story, so that others may know and respect the loss. Now, I know that it's a little bit controversial, especially after what is happening in Hollywood today, to bring this up. And I'm actually a little bit interested in how some of you may respond, because in 2012, when I did do this blog, I got some interesting responses that we will talk about at the end of, talking about Virginia. So Virginia Rappe was born in to Mabel Rappe before she went to Hollywood. Mabel died when Virginia was only 11 years old. After only 3 years of being in the care of her grandmother, Virginia ran away to Hollywood because she believed that she was going to find stardom, and she was in love with the glitz of Hollywood. She was a model for quite some time. At this time, she met Robert Moskowitz. They became engaged. Sadly, their affair did not last very long, as he died in a car crash sometime later. This is not the actual picture, by the way, of the car crash. She was later found in 1917 by director Fred Balshofer, and she was given a prominent role in his Paradise Garden, opposite to the screen star Harold Lockwood. In 1919, she began a relationship with the director-producer Henry Learman, and the two eventually became engaged. At this point, she appeared in at least 4 films for Learman, his musical Sneeze, A Twilight Baby, A Punch of the Irish, which you can see the screenshot there, and Game Lady. Finally, she had found love. She was becoming a star. All of her dreams were coming true until Labor Day of 1921, when she attended a party at the St. Francis Hotel. Now, many witnesses have claimed to have seen Virginia and actor Roscoe Fatty Arkler enter room 1219 that night. Sadly, only one of them came back out. Here's a picture of Roscoe Fatty Arkler. Now, This is the room 1219, as it was found that night. And this is the newspaper clipping that came out the day after she died. The rumor was that she was a bit loose and that she had gone into the room of her own accord for a party, a private party, and things just got out of hand. Now, this is a picture of her after her post-mortem. Many women actually came forward to testify against Roscoe and his treatment of women. But according to the trial records, Virginia died of an erupted bladder, a fact that was greatly emphasized during the trial, since they claimed that it had been Virginia's lust and sexual appetite that killed her. So she was so crazy and she wanted to have sex with so many different men that she bursted her bladder because of it. And that it was not Fatty who killed her, who was accused at this time of raping her until her bladder burst. Now, he was, of course, charged with the murder, but he was acquitted after 3 trials, in which in each of them Virginia was accused of prostitutions, abortions, and wild sexual allegations. So in the third one, it was no surprise that Harold was acquitted by a jury of his peers. To this day, visitors at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery claim to see Ghost of Virginia Rappe crying on her gravesite. Now, perhaps this is because she is crying because of the injustice. Perhaps she's crying for the son that she had once given up to adoption, or for her mutilated reputation that Hollywood lawyers slaughtered, as if her murder had not been enough. Whatever the case, karma took its own revenge on the screen star Fatty, and he went from being the first actor to be paid $1 million to being an untouchable in Hollywood. My belief is that it serves him right. Now, apparently not everyone agrees with me. Here are some comments that I received on the website. The first one was that Roscoe Fatty Uckle was found not guilty, that she died from a ruptured bladder caused by infection from abortions. Now, this first point is quite incredible because just because he was found not guilty, it does not mean that he did not commit the crime. That's number one. As we can see today, in today's society after the Me Too movement, we have been able to see that men in Hollywood use this tactic of bringing women up into their personal space, into their rooms, and then ask them for sexual favors so that they can further their career. This has been done thousands of times. I'm sure she was not the first, I'm sure she was not the last, and I'm sure it is happening as I speak right now. The second part is, okay, an infection from abortions due to a ruptured bladder caused a ruptured bladder. Now, I don't understand how the two of them come together. Maybe some of you who are doctors out there can actually explain this to me. So far as during my investigation, I did not actually find any evidence that she actually had abortions. She did have a son who she gave up for adoption, but I did not see any evidence that she was having abortions left and right. And whether or not she was having abortions left and right, that is none of anyone's business. The point is whether or not this fatty or Roscoe raped her. That's it. It has nothing to do with whether or not she decided to have an abortion. Okay, so please explain how the two coincide. The second one was Rappe did not die that night. She died about 3 days later. Roscoe Fatty Arkballoon was a big star at the time, but he was blacklisted in Hollywood after the scandal of the trial. Okay, so that's a fact check on my case. Apparently, she did not die right away. She died 3 days later, and I'm going to fact check that. Then I get, what do you mean serves him right? He was found not guilty. She was also a tramp, just as the defense claimed she was. Her death from a burst bladder was her myriad of abortions that caused incessant infections. She was also happily married at the time, so what the hell was she even doing in room 1219 to begin with? She was a resident of Hobag City, USA. Seems to me that it served her right. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. We're in 2020, and this is the type of comments that just bristle my skin. Okay, number one, in Hollywood, in business, it is not unusual for women or for men to have to go into a private setting, including a private room in a hotel room, to do business. Okay, it happens thousands of times a day, and it is known and it is clear that in business in Hollywood, it comes many times that a person might be away from their home or their office, and so they get a business lounge, or they get a room with a lounge next to it so that they can conduct a business, and they invite the person up to their room. Okay, uh, my husband is in business, he does this all the time. Okay, and it doesn't mean that he is doing anything nefarious. And why is this wrong? I don't understand why a woman in 2020 or in 1950 or in 1920 or in the 1820s, why can a woman not go into a room with a man without having the idea that she's going to have sex with that man? I mean, how is that not clear? Just because she's going into a room with somebody, it does not necessarily mean that she's saying yes to sex. Okay, I always set up this idea that a woman should be able to walk around naked without getting raped. Okay, it's just a point. Like, men are able to walk around without shirts. Women don't go around touching their butts. Okay, just because they don't have a shirt on. They don't say, hey, you don't have a shirt on, so I can touch a butt. It's, you're asking me for it, right? It just doesn't go that way. So why should it go the other way around? The next one is Virginia wanted to get discovered, and Fatty was the target. So it was Virginia who was the bad one. Virginia was known to sleep with anyone she could get that might help her career. With her being so deceased, okay, it took its toll on her. The newspapers had a field day with this. Unfortunately, it cost of the cost of them a very steep price, her death and his career. There's a lot to learn from this. Yes, there is. There is a lot to learn from this. The first thing is, how is he the target? Okay? Like, okay, seriously, he's like this poor defenseless guy that uh, if a woman shows her breast to him, he has to do whatever she says. That's what you're saying? That men are so weak that and women are so evil that all we have to do is open our legs and men would be at our feet. Oh my God, I wish that was the case, because then we would have a woman president right now. Okay? That's not the case. Okay, we don't have that much power. Our between our legs, not that much power, guys. Come on, give me a break. Poor Fatty is the next one. Okay, maybe he is poor Fatty because he lost everything. Um, if you want to make him the victim, okay, suits you. And then the next one is the one that I totally agree with, and thank you so much for somebody sticking up for women all over. It says, if you look at the morgue photos, the bruises were in several places on her body and indicate that her arms were held tightly. To me, this implies rape. And to some of you commenters, women don't deserve to die because they are promiscuous. Also, there were few options of birth control in 1921. Why the hell do people think women deserve rape and death for having sex? Abso-freaking-lutely. Listen, I am as human as the next person. If I choose to have sex with 150,000 men in my lifetime, I should be allowed to have sex with 150,000 men in my lifetime. Okay? And if I say no to the 150,001, and he says, no, but you already had sex with all of those other people, so you have to have sex with me, and then he proceeds to rape me, it's still rape. Okay? So I'm just saying, I know that this is supposed to be about the ghost and the mystery of Virginia Rappe, but what happened afterwards when I started reading these comments, if you want to call them that, it just made me so frustrated that I just had to do a video about it. So I want to hear more comments. I want to know what you guys think. I mean, these comments, the first time that I did this was in 2012. So maybe after the Me Too movement, maybe after we have expanded our minds a little bit and we have opened up, the talk about men and women and what should be allowed and shouldn't be allowed. Maybe things have changed a little bit. So this is my hope. Okay, guys, I'm hoping to do another video soon. So keep an eye on that. I will post the link to my blog. I am still continuing to write because that's still what I like to do. So if you want to check out that blog, do so as well. Until dead, okay, not dead, but until then, keep safe and don't die on us. Bye.